Good morning, good morning, good morning. How is everyone? I hope you've had a beautiful start to today. We're coming into to rip out a lovely Saturday morning Australian time podcast. And for the ladies in the US, the men and gentlemen in the US, Canada, UK, being your Friday afternoon, I hope you've had a beautiful week, guys. We're going to be starting this episode in 2 minutes. So if you are coming into this one live, I'd love to hear from you in the comments to let us know what's going on. Good morning, Em. I've got to compliment you again, Em. You look so beautiful in that yellow dress. Now everyone can see it. I hope you've had a good start to the morning, Em. And congratulations again on the promotion. So cool. So damn cool. So guys, we're going to be ripping up a pretty kind of powerful podcast of which I'm going to elaborate on a post I made through the week for a little bit more clarity. So if you want some fire, then let us know because you're going to get it today. I'm starting off the weekend powerful. We've just come off the back of our men's huddle call, and I think it went well. I'll have to wait and see how many boys take action. How was the women's huddle call yesterday? I saw some ladies in there. I was occupied at the time, but I see some ladies in there, and it looked pretty damn powerful. So that one in the UK, how good. Hey, Mikey boy, how are you, legend? Good to have you in here today, brother. So we're going to kickstart this one in 1 minute, guys. 1 minute and counting. What do we got planned for the weekend, team? Hey, Mikey, I forgot to ask you on the huddle, mate. Is it getting spicy and beautiful up near where you are? It's got a lovely day here in Vancouver, mate. So probably 20 degrees, sunny, finally. The days are long, for God's sake. I'm sorry to rub it into the Aussies, but it's been a long time coming for us. So good. Hello, Jamie. How are you, girl? Good to have you in here as well, my friend. What are you guys up to this weekend? Say hi in the comments. There's 8 people watching in here live, and I've got 3 people saying hi. Come on, guys. Let me know who I'm talking to. We're going to kickstart this episode in 30 seconds. Ready and getting your weekend rolling with some fire. Let's do it. Okay, I think we are about set to go. Okay, team, we're going to rock and roll into this episode. So, hello, I'm new to the group. Hello, new to the group. How are you? So, what you need to do, if you can, there should be, just at the bottom of the description above here, there should be something saying Restream. So if you can click that, I can actually see who it is. It'll authorize your name. My streaming service needs to be pre-authorized by each person to be able to display their name so I know who we're talking to. So if you can do that, that'd be lovely. Guys, let's get started in today's episode. On the count of 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Welcome back to the Better Body Academy podcast. This is the podcast that you come to when you are sick of the dumb diets and unsustainable workout programs. Now, this episode is going to contain a little bit of fire, and I want to elaborate on a post that I made through the week, and the post was around what we stand for, and I really do think it's important to go a little bit deeper on this post to explain, I guess, number one, the motive behind the post, but then secondly, why I have included the things that I have and why the commandments are as they are. So guys, really love the fact that you're tuning into these episodes. If you are getting value from the episodes, I do ask it frequently. I would love for you to one time go onto Apple, scroll to the bottom of the first episode and leave us a review. It helps more than you know in us spreading the word and bringing more people into our environment. I've just got off a call, which we call the huddle call, which is a 2 or 3 weekly catch up with our men's group, which was really good today. We had around, I don't know, what do you reckon, Danny? Probably 15 people on the call talking about some really deep shit. I'm going to keep the content of that private because I think it's honorable that anyone that comes onto the huddle call, it stays in the huddle. But guys, I really want to appreciate you and show gratitude for sharing so openly inside of that call and inside of that group. Now, guys, let's get started into today's episode. I want to talk a little bit about what we stand for. And I want to give you a bit of an idea of why I think it's important. As you may or may not know, I am myself part of a business coaching group. I pay a coach a very hefty amount of money to really kind of guide our approach, as an entrepreneur, so to speak, our mission is still fairly new. We've had our academy open for about 3 years now. And yes, the transformations are clocking up there and we've worked with a ton of clients. But I think that the moment that the coach stops learning, then they become defunct and they start to think that they know it all. Now, I want to show you something that I wrote down, and this is going on my vision board. Okay? Now, I just showed the men in the group this one. It says, be authentically you, stop being fucking vanilla, shoot at what you oppose. Now, this is a concept that come out of the call that I had with my business coach through the week. There was a number of people on that call, and I think what's happened is the online training landscape, or the fitness industry landscape, moving online so much has caused a lot of saturation, and all of the messages are starting to sound the same. Do you guys agree with this? Like, it's kind of like everything sounds the same, everything looks the same. And as people who are considering coming into a program for a transformation, like, you're not really sure until you get in there what the coach or the people stand for. And I think that's kind of weird, because that's kind of like signing up to a religion and not understanding that the religion has some underlying principles before you actually sign up to the religion. We wouldn't go and become Muslim or Catholic or whatever the different religions are unless we understood the fundamental beliefs and principles of that religion. And in a way, I think that a coaching environment can create what I call a culture. A culture, meaning a cult-like belief and indoctrination into a set of values. And so the reason I did this post through the week, and I'm now coming on to explain this at a deeper level, is because I want you guys in the BBA to understand clearly what we stand for and why that is. But then if you're not in the BBA, I want you to almost identify yourself as being someone who should continue to tune into these podcasts or not. Because you're not going to get value if it's not in line with your way of thinking. So I'm going to talk about two things first. I'm going to talk about people who I would say are out. And what I mean by this is, just to be very, very clear, I'm not talking about these people being bad people. That's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about if you want to believe in these things and you want to have this following, then Better Body Academy is not for you. And so let's go through the list. Number one, you're a steroid user. I'm not saying in any circumstance that steroid users are bad people. That's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is that it doesn't fit with our model and our personal sets of beliefs. And so you coming into Better Body Academy are going to find that you are repelled by the information that we cover inside of our training, because it's not a good fit for you. So let's go down this list. You grunt like an idiot in the gym. Now, I guess this one is a little bit of a stab, because I just think, why do we need to make the gym environment, which is so beneficial to so many people, so intimidating? Like, yeah, maybe if you're at a competition lift or something like that, you need to go really, really hard. Okay, I get it. But for the most part, you grunting like an idiot in the corner doesn't make your fellow members feel welcome and makes the gym a bit of a rough place to be. You think you know more about transformation than your coaches. I think this is a really interesting thing, is that people join up to transformation programs and then they kind of, if it's unconscious and they don't mean it, I can understand how that can happen for sure. But what is the point of paying a coach to teach you what to do, but then thinking that inherently you actually know more than the coach? Now, I'm not a finance coach. I'm not a relationship coach. But what I do know inside and out, because I've done the training on it and coached a bunch of clients on it, is I know health and fitness inside and out. And what I can tell you is, looking straight down in the camera or speaking into your earbuds, if you follow the plan will work. But coming into our academy and not following the plan is not going to work for you. And so you might as well not start in the first place. And so likewise is the idea about being a vegetarian. Again, vegetarian people, I think, people that follow vegetarian diets, I think morally, it's a really nice idea. It's a really great idea. It's just not in line with what we believe to be the ultimate in keeping health, getting good composition, feeling better over the long term. And so the point of this message would be that if you are vegetarian, that's great. BBA is just not for you. You look down on or unwilling to help people that are getting started. Our community is so based around group. It's so based around bringing people in, giving them a hug, and helping them to move forward. Because most of us, when we start any transformation program, we're doing so because we feel stuck. So we need to be able to leverage the community that we're around to feel supported and to feel free and able to move. If you are adamant about following some kind of labeled diet, like, no, I follow keto and keto works, I'm only going to follow keto. Or in the last podcast, if you listen to that, I covered something called the Fast 800 or something like that, an 800 calorie diet. This is just not in line with our model. So if you are adamant about the need to feel like you need to follow a doctrine of diet or training and you're inflexible to anything else, then it's really not going to work for you. Likewise, if you're someone that is just so caught up in following some supplement company's prescription like Man Shakes or Isogenics or any of those companies, that's fine for you. And I'm not saying that you're a bad person. I'm just saying the model is not going to work for you because we don't believe in dependency on supplements. In fact, inside the Academy, I talk about the fact there's only really 3 supplements in the world that actually really do anything beyond doubt. So let's talk about, peeps who are in. Who are the types of people that are going to fit in very well to Better Body Academy? Because if you meet this criteria, I can tell you that your experience is going to be phenomenal. As long as you're willing to kind of open up and bring the walls down that often keep us caged in, you're going to have an amazing experience. And so these people are people that are sick of feeling crap all the time. They're sick of failing, and they're actually saying, coaches, I want some help. I want to transform my life. And you have to believe, firstly, that transformation is actually possible, because I think a lot of people inherently think that, what I've got is just, that's it. And that's called a fixed mindset. That's the idea that you believe that no amount of training or coaching or deep work is ever actually going to change who you are. I mean, I believe that that's fundamentally untrue, but if you have that belief, it's not going to work. In the contrast, if you do have a belief, which is, I can change, I just need some direction, the tools, and I need some support and guidance, well, then this is the place for you. If you think that you're going to get through without ever failing, that's not it. We warmly welcome failure because we know that the only way that you're going to figure out how to get past the hurdles and the challenges in your life is to actually fail them so many times that you get pissed off about failing. And as a whole, weight loss is a great example of that. My favorite clients are clients over the age of 40 who have failed so many times that they're just so sick of trying to figure it out their own. And so what they do is they park their ego and they just say, coach, tell me what to do because I will do anything that you tell me what to do. And these people always get the most amazing transformations. And I guess the last 2 points about, who is really part of who's going to make a massive following in here? Who's going to really punch through? It's people that want to be the best partner that they can be or the best parent that they can be. It's people that want to look in the mirror and genuinely love themselves. And I don't mean love themselves in an egocentric way. I mean love myself as in, I want to feel proud. I want to feel fulfilled. I want to feel good about what I'm doing. That's the type of person that is going to come into our academy and thrive. And so now I have laid out the guidelines and the reasons behind these guidelines. I want to give listeners to this podcast, either listening and catching up later on or listening live, a repeat of the 10 commandments that I believe are essential, and these underpin our model. So let's go through them quickly, okay? Thou shalt stop complaining about life and begin taking messy action. I really do think that so many of us just wait until things are perfect, until the stars aligned and we feel our calling And we sit there and wait and wait and wait and wait and wait. And before we know it, we've got gray hair. Guys, like, nothing comes out of complaining. Nothing. Zero. Fuck all. And so what we need to be able to do is say, you know what? Things aren't perfect. I might be going on a holiday next week. Okay? I might have a sore back. I might have diabetes. But those things are going to change as a consequence of me getting started, not I'm going to wait until things are perfect to start. It's a very different mindset. Thou shalt stop being a victim and instead become the hero of their comeback story. I think that this is a product of someone being really stuck, is the feeling that I am stuck and life is happening to me. Like, it doesn't matter what I do. Like, just shit happens to me and it's not my fault. And so what typically happens is when you're in that mindset, guess what? You attract more things coming to you because that's where you're operating. As an example, if you're putting out a whole lot of, negative vibes to your circle, well, they're going to pick up on that and they're going to give you negative vibes back to act in alignment with what they're picking up from you. And this is why it doesn't work. You have to be the protagonist in your own story. And if you're really going to change, you have to acknowledge that maybe you have had a shit hand. I see some of the people that come into our academy and the challenges that they've had, most of them beyond their control. But, if you take away the emotional anchoring of that, the reality is, whether it's our fault or not, we just can't do anything about it other than move forward. Commandment 3, thou shalt not continually look for quick fixes and instead focus on permanent change. We talked about in what type of person's going to really thrive in our academy. It's going to be someone who wants to solve the problem permanently. Guys, I understand the lure of quick fixes. Like, I totally get it. Like, if we could be a millionaire tomorrow, is that better than in 50 years? Of course it's better. But if becoming a millionaire means that you become a prostitute, sell drugs, and murder people, very obviously far out, right? But, okay, is that the morally right way to do it or the smartest way to go about doing it? Of course not. Beautiful bodies and beautiful mindsets, functional bodies, happy mindsets are built very slowly because it takes a long time to get to a place where you don't want to be, and it can take an equally long or greater time to get back to where you want to go to. So it has to be something that isn't built upon shiny objects. It has to be something built on sustenance and a solid base. Commandment 4, thou shalt refuse to be defined by their age as old. It's one of the things that I just truly believe in is that when you think about it, actually, if you break down what age is a loop around the sun. That's what it is. It's a number around the sun. So yes, do we get chronologically older? Of course we do. Of course we do. But like, when you just take away all the connotations and the kind of the connections that go with getting chronologically older, think about that. Like, what does it matter how many loops around the sun you've done? Like, I actually think it's quite the opposite. The more loops you've done around the sun and the more that you've managed to keep yourself functional, happy, fulfilled, growing, that's a badge of honor. It's a badge of honor to be older. For me, an older dad, but I refuse to say I'm old. My missus quite often says to me when I bend over and go, oh, she goes, Jace, you're getting old. The first thing I say to her is, no, I'm not. Because the moment that I accept being old, I'm going to accept what being old brings to me. Injuries, hip issues, knee pain, complaining. I'm not going to go down that line. And this is what I try to share with the people inside of our academy. Number 5, thou shalt end all restrictive processes like yo-yo dieting, up and down dieting, different labeled diets, and instead learn to fuel your body. I think it's one of the things that that most people don't actually understand how to do. They think that reducing food amount from a quantity point of view means health. It's just not true. It's just really not true. You can lose weight eating nothing but alcohol, drinking nothing but alcohol, and no food, and you can lose weight. Okay? But on the converse, you can eat a hellishly large amount of food like I do and completely maintain weight or lose weight or gain weight, because what you've done is you've learned to fuel your body as opposed to just seeing it as this endless kind of garbage can that we can just fill up to our heart's content. And then feel guilty for that a couple of hours later and binge, and it's just not a way to live in this polarity. Does this make sense, guys? Okay, next. Thou shalt no longer refer to their current motivation and instead work on their discipline. This is something that we are always talking about inside BBA, is this idea that I'm just not feeling motivated. I'm just not feeling motivated. And I've done previous podcasts on this one idea. I hate to break it, guys, but you're never going to feel motivated to do things that you don't really want to do, that you're not good at, or which obviously need to be done. Like, you're not going to feel motivated. And so it's kind of like you're walking into your own flame thinking that I'm just going to wait till I'm motivated. You're never going to be motivated. It's not about motivation. In fact, when you come into the academy, I give you permission to act when you don't feel like it. And sometimes that very statement is enlightening for people because they think, you're right. So I can feel shit, but do it anyway. Yes. Let me give you some examples. I don't feel like going to the gym, but I do it anyway. I didn't feel like coming on and doing this podcast, but I do it anyway. I didn't feel like sitting inside when it's beautiful sun outside, but I do it anyway. And the reason is because I'm not motivated. I'm disciplined. And when you learn to decipher the difference between the two, motivation is a floating emotion. It just comes and goes. Sometimes you're motivated, sometimes you're not. But discipline is a character trait that is built over a period of time. So one of the commandments is that thou shalt stop waiting for motivation and start working on improving their discipline. Imagine you had that. Imagine having discipline, that you had confidence you could follow through on decisions regardless of your current level of how you feel or how motivated you are. Number 8, we're coming down to the last 3. Thou shalt strive to live abundantly and free. I think this is probably one of the most important commandments. And the reason it's important is because I think that the very nature of fat loss programs is that it's a shrinking of ourselves. Whether we're a man or a woman, we're taking physical tissue off ourselves, right? And so whenever we lose something, I feel like subconsciously the body is programmed and the mind is programmed to find something to replace it. I guess it's the reason why people give up smoking and then they become massive eaters and put on weight, because something's been taken away and we got programmed to find it. Perhaps it's that someone goes through a breakup and they lose their partner out of that breakup, but then they replace it with porn. You know, it's this idea that if you just shrink and shrink and shrink in life, you might lose weight, but have you gained life? For me, it's about, okay, what can we actually gain here? Like, if we put our focus on living abundantly, if we put our focus on, okay, like, yes, my transient goal is to shift some of this weight, but my major outcome that I'm working towards is to love the man or woman in the mirror, to feel amazing, and to be able to do things that I can't currently do because I'm held back by my weight. By viewing things like this, our weight just becomes a stepping stone. It's the stepping stone to greater things. We solve this first, and then we can be like guys like Travis, one of my favorite clients, who's lost 50 kilograms and is now despite never being able to run before, going for a 12K run. Is it good for his knees? Probably not. But he's able to do something that he couldn't do before. He's lost 50 kilograms, but he's gained life. He's gained confidence. And there's so many stories just like this that have happened inside the academy. Let's finish off number 10 to be very, very strong. Okay? We're up to 9. Thou shalt love and support his fellow brother or sister. We kind of covered that in the beliefs, but I really do think it's important that you understand that if you come into our academy, we are all about love. And if you're like one of these guys that's, what's the word? Trying to remember the word, homophobic, right? You're going to be a bit like, whoa, man, these guys like really fucking support each other. Yeah, we do. Because one of our highest values is love. Because we believe that love is it's a characteristic, or it's a feeling that everyone deserves to feel if they open themselves up. If you don't open yourself up, it was interesting. I'm going to share one piece actually. There's a little bit of a diversion from our huddle just now. And I said in that huddle, the question I asked was, if you found out that you were going to die in 6 months, what one emotion would you men let yourself feel more of? I'll say it again. If you were going to die in 6 months, because you got a diagnosis, what one emotion would you let yourself feel more of? 50% of the men answered love. So what does that tell you? That tells you that men want love. Men have love to give. But for whatever reason, be it maybe fear of judgment, fear of vulnerability, that we hold back because we're scared of what? So our goal is to leak love into our community. And guess what? That might sound pussy to you. Well, if it sounds pussy to you, then you're not for us. Straight up. We're about love. We're about supporting our fellow brothers and sisters. And that goes hand in hand with Commandment 10. And that is, thou shalt be a team player and stop the soulless existence. And let me explain this. I wonder how many men and women are kind of, single mom comes to mind. She's so busy and she's pulled in 14 different ways. And dad's perhaps in a different family, dad's going to work and he's just stressed out and he's not sleeping and he's tired, and he comes home and he walks through the door and it's loud from the kids, and like, these are two very different things. But if you're trying to transform physically and mentally in an environment which is not conducive, you need a team. You need people to be there next to you, picking you up and encouraging you when you're struggling, and celebrating with you when you're winning. This is the reason our academy is the best thing on the fucking planet, is because when people come in, we do our best to pick them up and take them away from some soulless bodyweight workout that they're doing in a dungeon in their backyard, to coming up and encouraging them to get out of their comfort zone and joining a gym, or encouraging to send their meal plans, to send their meals that they're cooking out to the group and share and show and be part of something. Like this kind of running your own race thing and people being self-made, there is not a successful person in this world that is self-made. To finish off this episode, I'll finish it off similarly to what I did in the post, is that for me, my personal vision is that I want to be the energetic 70-year-old dude that's probably got a really shit gym outfit, and I'm in the gym and I've still got it. I don't want to live a life where I accept aging and that I'll gradually just tread my way towards death. Like, that sounds terrible to me. That sounds like a horrible existence. And so my personal goal is to inspire as many people as I can to understand that, maybe you're not an athlete. That does not matter. That's not the goal. But there is untapped energy and love and potential in you. And for the most part, you're probably your own worst enemy because you're trying to do it solo. You're trying to do it with a prescription. You're trying to do it, with supplements. You're trying to make shortcuts. All of the mistakes that I personally made. And at 40 years old, I've learned stuff. I've learned stuff at a university, and I've learned stuff from the real world with clients. And of course, my own personal experience. You bring that capital into a group and you congregate it and you create a community around it. Change happens. So the reason for the post, for those of you that inboxed me and asked, this is the reason, is that I realized through the week after a coaching call with my coach that I'm not in this to make friends. I'm in this to help people change their lives. And in doing so, this is going to push a lot of people away. But it's going to have you, our Better Body Academy members, love us and froth for us and trust us. And that's what we want. We are creating a culture around what we do. And guess what? You're going to take on that culture. You're going to leak that culture into your friends and family group. And it's going to feel good because 2, 3, 4 generations down the line, you're going to see the seeds that you sowed around health paying off for your future generations. And that to me is absolute magic. Guys, I'm going to love you and leave you for your weekend. If that was over the passion cooker, I'm not going to apologize. This has been the Better Body Academy podcast, the podcast that you come to when you're sick of the dumb diets, unsustainable workout programs. Team, have a beautiful weekend, and I'll see you in the next episode.